Hi there, I already recorded this video, but I realized there was some stuff that I didn't talk about at the beginning of this video. If you don't know, I have a Patreon to help support this channel. As we all know, we have hard times right now. I'm still out of a job because of COVID. I was a bartender and unfortunately, I can't work right now, but I do love doing this for y'all. And so I started a Patreon account. Now, here's what you'll be getting if you join any of my top tiers with my Patreon account. You'll see behind the scenes look, you'll get one-on-one chats with me, and you'll also be seeing how I plan out my looks and before the final outcome, which it's this video today. So if you also want, I'm gonna put up my social medias here, my Instagram and just my Instagram because I don't have anything else. My second channel as well, which is an ASMR second funsies channel, that's going to be up here as well. I'll put the links down on the bottom. I just wanted to tell you guys that before this video started. Also, there is a charity. It is an awareness charity for the topic that I'm about to talk about in this video today. It'll be down here on the bottom. And if you guys really like seeing videos like this, please subscribe to support the channel as a fan. You can also go to my Patreon, monetarily support this channel so I can have new things coming out still and add new things to this channel as well. And you'll also get to see some of the stuff that I post on my stories. I like to post pro mental health stuff as well. I like to just get to know my fans, and I love seeing, I love just talking to people, So if y'all guys feel that way, follow me on Instagram, follow me on my second YouTube, join my Patreon, and just comment down below to see what else you'd like to see for my next video. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about, and now here is the actual video. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tatcha. I do makeup and I do tutorials, I do ASMR videos. Today is a get ready with me. Today I'm going to be talking about the documentary. This is Paris. I just saw the documentary just a couple days ago and I was shocked, to say the least. It's a brilliantly done documentary, and it kind of just sent me on a deep dive, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. I really I don't know, I'm a very strange person. I look at myself from the outside. I talk about really weird things, and you might not consider it weird, but I do, because I feel like not a lot of people normally talk about the stuff that I'm about to talk about today. Today's video is actually brought to you by Versus Enigma. This is a beanie that I'm wearing from Versus Enigma. It's the Love is Dead beanie. It's really awesome. It's really comfy. It's one of the beanies that you can wear it all day and you don't even realize that it's there. It's super soft, and what I do like about it is that I wear it all day and it doesn't do that thing where it comes upwards. Like it's so tight on your head that it ends up squeezing up and you got like a nipple on your head. This beanie is just super comfy, it's super stylish. Versus Enigma is a small business clothing brand company, streetwear clothing brand, which is like my style. So if you're gonna check them out and you see something that you like the Love is Dead beanie, use code Tatcha at checkout for a 15% off discount. Let's get into it. If I stop in the middle of the video, it's because what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to kind of kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to do this get ready with me, and when I get to one part of my eye, I'm going to pause the video and start a new video, because that video is going to be showing the look I'm doing today. People are asking me how I did it when I already posted it on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you will probably know what look I'm talking about. But this look, some people were requesting on how to do it, so I'm going to do part of the video as the get ready with me, but I will stop in the middle of the video when I get to this side, so that way I can do a tutorial on how to do this one eyeshadow look I'm going to do today. So, and I'm going to list all of the products that I used today down in this description below, and I'm going to throw in some comments in there every once in a while about some of the stuff that I'm using today. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and preface this with I'm just gonna brag about these these brushes that my mom got at Walmart. It's the Moda brushes. I'm using these brushes today in my video and in my tutorial because these brushes are freaking amazing. They're just so stinking awesome. I have to brag about them just for a second. Like, wow, they're so freaking good. So, if I say a lot, I'm really sorry. It's just I have a problem with enunciating my thoughts correctly. Also, if y'all see me looking down a lot, it's because I have notes for this video for me to go back to, like talking points. So if you see me doing that a lot, I apologize in advance. So I'm gonna start off with my brows. So if y'all don't know, Paris Hilton came out with a documentary called This Is Paris. And I have to say, the documentary was definitely very shocking. It definitely did its job in showing you who the real Paris Hilton was, like straight up. So growing up, I'm a millennial, so I grew up in the late 90s, early 2000 era. If you don't know who Paris Hilton is the original influencer. I remember her back in the day, like seeing her in People and Us Weekly and In Touch magazine, wondering what exactly she did that got her famous. And I didn't know at the time. It was partially because of the sex tape that was released, but we're not gonna specifically talk about that today. No, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that, I just did. No, apparently, well, obviously we all knew that Paris Hilton is heiress to the Hilton hotel family fortune. And she was a socialite, which being a socialite was really new at the time. If you watch movies like The Great Gatsby, socialites have been around for quite a while. Even before the time that The Great Gatsby took place, which was in the roaring 20s. But no, being a socialite wasn't anything new. But Paris Hilton, for her being kind of outlandish, she got really popular, and then she did this show with Nicole Richie, who is daughter to Lionel Richie, the musician. They made a show together called The Simple Life, which was a reality TV show where it followed Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie just doing normal everyday Joe's type of stuff, working on a farm and just doing weird stuff. They did wife swaps also, which I thought was kind of interesting. So on the show The Simple Life, Paris Hilton came off as this ditzy, bubbly type of girl, and that she was stuck up and that she didn't know anything, and you know, she definitely dressed very scantily clad. She did some modeling, and it, like, I had a vision of Paris Hilton growing up that wasn't very positive. When I saw her in the newspapers or the magazines, the tabloids, I kind of just saw a little stuck-up girl, but that was because, I mean, I personally didn't grow up with a lot of money, so that might have just stemmed a lot from, like, jealousy. But honestly, it was so long ago that I don't even remember. Eventually had a sex tape released about her, and it was actually, like, really sad, because looking back on it, she was definitely a victim of revenge porn, which, if you don't know what that is, revenge porn is basically when like your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend, even, because girls can be guilty of this too, they will record a sex video that both of y'all consented to the video, but didn't necessarily consent to the film being released at all. Looking at it now from a present perspective, from a 2020 perspective, she was definitely a victim of revenge porn. She did file a lawsuit against the ex-boyfriend who released the sex tape, and she won, but that's beside the point. The public's viewing of her was now not very good, if you know what I mean. Like, people were kind of looking down on her. They were definitely slut-shaming her. When if people want to record sex tapes on their own, you know, on their free time, and they don't want to release it on OnlyFans or Pornhub, like, that's up to them. Some people just want to record their, you know, their sex adventures with their specific other, and that shouldn't be looked down upon, especially if the girl in question wasn't planning on releasing that video to the public at all. I definitely did have that view of Paris growing up, that, you know, she was just a snobby girl. Little did I know it was all a character, and she's nothing like that at all. So, oh shit. Yeah, it was just a shock. That whole, the documentary as a whole really exposed a lot, and it did delve deep into Paris's childhood, and it also touches on the idea of behavioral boarding schools for troubled youth. Ugh. So that's another thing that was talked on in the video. And can I just say, looking at Paris Hilton from like her, you know, the perspective I've had of her growing up, you would never think of her as a victim, you know? You would never think of her as a victim. You would never see her and think, oh, she's been through some shit. No, she's been through some shit, like really bad. And it was just very, very, very sad to watch the documentary, because you really feel for her. And the documentary did its job as kind of just not tearing her apart, but allowing her to shed her mask that she has on her little cocoon, and she's this, you actually see the real Paris Hilton. She's a nerdy, very intelligent. I say nerdy because apparently, I don't know if this is true, but apparently she's actually like a huge history buff. Like, she loves the historical type of stuff. So, and I know what you're thinking right now, what does behavioral therapy schools have to do with this? Well, if you watch the documentary and you haven't watched the documentary yet, definitely go and watch that documentary. It's worth the hour and 45-minute long documentary that it is. It's super, super shocking. She talks about going to a behavioral modification school, basically a boarding school. Now, growing up, I remember watching these commercials, if you will. I remember seeing commercials about, is your teen being rebellious or troubled, or do you have a troubled youth at home? Well, send them to this treatment center and we can fix it. I'm just kind of stating what I remember. It's been a long time. I remember those commercials a lot on cable television whenever I was homesick from school. Like, you know, the channels that Maury used to come out on? I think it was NBC, I want to say. I think it's NBC that I used to see those commercials on all the time. It dawned on me that they were advertising behavioral modification schools and behavior modification treatment programs. And in the documentary, Paris says that her reason for being sent to this school was because she was rebelling against her parents. That's why her parents kind of sent her to these behavioral modification programs, or this boarding school that she went to. And I have to say, first of all, and I'm sorry, but fuck her parents. She was rebelling. She wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be a model, and her mom didn't want that for her. Even though you could obviously tell, like, it made Paris happy, and she was definitely her, you know, like, she wanted that for herself. And they were able to pay for her to get a good agent. They were able to look out for her, especially if her mom, who in the documentary was an actress and was a model growing up, and her mom didn't want that for her. You think that if your daughter wanted it, you would do better to make sure that she would have a good experience if you obviously didn't have that good of an experience growing up. That's just the way I see it. Like, her mom was just so against her wanting to do something that clearly made her happy. Of course, Paris was gonna rebel, and she was gonna dress scantily clad like most teenage girls did. I wasn't allowed to dress scantily clad growing up, But now I'm able to because I have my own money to pay for the stuff that I want, and I'm an adult. My parents can't really stop me from dressing how I want to dress now. That was like just a shocker hearing that Paris Hilton, of all people, was sent to a boarding school for just not listening to her parents. And the way that her parents sent her to that school was really fucked up. Her parents, I googled this, mind you, I googled this. This is an actual thing that a lot of other schools do. And looking up what association was it? American Psychological Association. They stated that a lot of these programs, these centers, these schools, these boarding schools, they will do that. They will have transporters manhandle your kids, dragging them out of their school without the child's consent. But what happens is these parents will sign over the children's rights to the school so they can just handle them however they want, and the kid basically has their rights taken away. And oh my god, that is so, like, my plan for this channel was to do videos with like scary stories, and this is a really scary story. This is actually very frightening, because the one thing that you're definitely scared of, like, is the possibility of like being abducted. You know, like your parents always say, don't go to the park by yourself, don't go out somewhere by yourself, stay away from this part of town because, you know, somebody's gonna pick you up. At least that's what I remember growing up. My parents were very, very clear on like trying to, you know, make me and my brother very aware that we're small children and we could be snatched up at any time. And it's not really a scare tactic, it's just more so like, be aware, be on the lookout, and be aware of your surroundings. In Paris's case, she was definitely like taken care of. She had security growing up, so there was no need for her to ever really think about that. So you can imagine her shock and most people's shock when she was literally abducted in her home by these people who manhandled her, literally dragged her out of her room, out of her home, in the dead of night, and she was screaming out for her parents, who were there, and they just looked away and they just had to deal with it. And I gotta say, like, that is, and she talks about that in the documentary, how scary that is. Yeah. And so not long after the release of her documentary, which from today, the day that I'm uploading this, it had to have been about just a little over a week ago that the documentary came out. And then I immediately went to Paris Hilton's Instagram page because I was like, oh my god, I freaking love this girl now. I'm a huge fan. Like, I want to follow her on social media. So I followed her on social media, and the next person that I see on Paris Hilton's Instagram is Kat Von D. Now, I am not a fan at all of Kat Von D. I'm not gonna pretend I am. Like, I used to be a fan. I do have one of her palettes, but I'm not necessarily like I bought this palette way before the whole anti-vax, anti-Semitism, you know, allegations came out. But I'm not really a fan of her now. Anyways, that's beside the point. So I saw the Instagram post of Kat Von D and I clicked it. It turns out that Kat Von D also went to this school that she also had a very traumatic event at. Kat Von D states that the same thing with her. She was abducted in the middle of the night by these people who who basically manhandled her out of her home. Now, look, Kat Von D and Paris Hilton both said the same thing, that they weren't necessarily doing bad stuff, but they were just changing. They were just, you know, they were definitely rebelling against their parents. Both of their parents were very conservative. Both of their parents led a very normal lifestyle that when they saw their kids rebelling, either it was dressing scantily clad, dressing punk, getting tattoos, wanting to go out partying, that's a normal part of childhood. That's a normal part of adulthood, is to be doing that. Not even adulthood, but adolescence, is to be doing those things. And you know, that's the time of your life when you are shaped into the person that you will be as an adult. Which Paris and Kat Von D, they were both sent to schools for dressing a certain way or for wanting to do a certain career path, which for Paris, she wanted to be an actress, and Kat Von D, she wanted to be a tattoo artist. They never grew out of that. Now, granted, Paris is not necessarily an actress now. She did do some acting back in the day, if you remember House of Wax, and it was that one really goth musical, Repo the Genetic Opera. It wasn't necessarily like, it's like, they still ended up growing up doing the things that they wanted to do, but now they have some serious mental health issues. Paris came out saying that she has trust issues, and for a good reason. She can't trust anybody. She couldn't even trust her own parents, you know? But for Kat Von D, she still ended up becoming a tattoo artist that everybody knows. But I'm guessing her parents felt like that, you know, she wanted to go down this route in life, she's probably gonna end up doing drugs. And that wasn't the case at all. That's just because your kid wants to do something that you don't think is particularly best for them, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna be a drug user or anything like that. Because a lot of these schools were meant to treat children doing drugs, and neither Paris nor Kat Von D were actually doing drugs. Like, that's just, it's just so upsetting. And now Kat Von D told her whole story about how she was abducted in the middle of the night by these people for the school. And Paris and Kat Von D and all the other survivors, they definitely don't deserve that. Like, you don't deserve to go through that at any age at all. And regardless of how you feel about Kat Von D, like me personally, like, I don't buy any of her products at all because I don't support her business. I don't think she deserved to go through that, you know? Like, it's just really, really sad. So, yeah. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I keep doing that. I actually did some research on this. Which, first of all, before I go on to what I found, I just gotta tell you, I think if you can't handle your kid growing up, like, I get it. Like, I'm not a parent. I know I'll be a parent one day. But the way that I see it, you literally cannot control your kid forever. Like, nope. I really like in the documentary where it seemed like it was kind of revenge for Paris, you know? Like, she seemed like, because a lot of the information, from what I could tell, the only person who really knew about, like, the absolute horror that was that school that Paris Hilton got sent to was her sister and her other classmates, you know, that went to that school. Me personally, my favorite part of the whole documentary was seeing her mother's face, like the shock on her face when she realizes, like, what happened to her daughter. You could tell for sure that, like, everything that Paris went through and that she was talking about in the documentary, her parents absolutely did not know, because there was nothing but shock on the Hilton mother's face when she realized that, like, oh my god, my daughter was traumatized from the school. And she finally realized, like, that's why, you know, her daughter is the way she is now, which is her character. I ended up doing a deep dive on, like, when I say a deep dive, I did a really, like, not as intense as you would think, but I did do a deep dive on behavioral boarding schools. And I wanted to find out, I was like, man, when did this start? Like, when did behavioral modification schools begin? So apparently, I went onto the Google, and I googled what the first troubled youth school was, and it was the Elan school. So that's what it was, which ran from 1970 to 2011. And it was a school for obviously troubled youth. Now, the school is now shut down. It ran for 78901. It ran for about 41 years until it was shut down because of allegations of abuse coming from the school. Meaning like ex students or alumni, I guess you would call them. They were speaking out about the school and talking about their experiences there and how they were mistreated, they were physically abused. The allegations made against the school was that they were using humiliation as a therapeutic tool for the kids. So like they would humiliate them and then they would do something called love bombing, which, if you don't know what love bombing is, it's a technique used by a lot of cults. They will use this technique on children so that way they can like show them like, yeah, this is the only place that you're gonna get this type of love. So they would love bomb them a lot. And then they would physically abuse the kids. They had a lot of SPEDS children there, which SPEDS is special needs children, but the new word for it is SPEDS. They had these SPEDS children there too, and then they were also abusing them. They were physically restraining them, and they would deprive the children a lot of sleep. And some kids allegated that smiling was a privilege, and if the children were caught smiling in the school, they would be punished. So they weren't even allowed to smile, and that's some serious, that is serious mental abuse right there, like just right out the gate. I did end up Googling some of my local youth boarding schools, and I found one school in particular that is very upsetting. So there's a local school just a couple towns over from where I live. It's a marine, it's supposed to be a military academy, but it's one of those military schools that like you send your kid to, that, you know, doesn't obviously listen to you, like, you know, Cadet Kelly, that type of marine school. Not like that, okay, because the Cadet Kelly marine type of school that I think of, and the Major Payne type of marine school, is a school that actually shows like tries to show your kids some type of discipline, and this wasn't that at all. Apparently the kids at this school that they're going to, they state allegations of abuse from the staff, but also the children all around too. So if your kid is being sent to these schools because they don't want to listen to you, they rebel a lot against you, you probably shouldn't be sending your kids to these schools in the first place. Maybe, I don't know, talk to them. I mean, the American Psychological Association doesn't even recommend these schools, period. They state, the American Psychological Association, which you can look it up, because I googled what do psychologists say about therapeutic schools, right? Well, they all say the same thing. They say that a lot of the times these kids will go to these schools and they'll actually come out worse than when they went in. Look, all I'm gonna say is that as a parent, you should really, like, really do your research on a place that you're gonna send your kid if they're having behavioral issues. And even then, chances are you might not even need to send them there. You probably just need to sit down and literally just have a talk with your kid about like what's going on in life. Like Paris's mom's whole deal was that she just didn't want her getting abducted and didn't want her, you know, being drugged or whatever she thought was gonna happen to her daughter while she was out kind of partying. So it's like, if you felt that way, why didn't you just have a conversation with your kid? Like, really sit them down. Because the thing with teenagers is that, like, they're not that hard to try and understand. I mean, they're trying to become their own person, and they're living in a house where they're literally being held back from becoming their own person. Whether it's like wanting to dress punk, wanting to dress goth, you know? Like, just because your kid wants to dress punk and goth and wants to dress, you know, like a hoe, like I dress like a hoe sometimes, like, just because your kid wants to, you know, dress like that, okay, you know, just tell them, like, hey, like, just be on the lookout for your surroundings, you know? If you're gonna go out with your friend, be sure to come back with your friend, you know? Like, Paris is very much entitled to feeling betrayed by her own parents, especially her sister, because her sister used to tattle on her a lot, but, like, she is entitled to feel that way because her trust definitely was betrayed. And she even says it in the video, in the movie, that, like, oh, sorry, I just got a text from my boyfriend right now. Like, she is very well inclined to feel the way that she feels. Like, you can't, she deserves to be upset, you know? Like, she does deserve it. Because she was betrayed, and it is hard to get that trust back. I mean, once you break that trust, it's hard to build it back up again. And that goes with any situation. Like, if there's any kids watching, if you screw yourself over, which is true, if your parents can't trust you, you have to really sit back and ask, like, well, what did I do to deserve it? You know, like, why don't my parents trust me? Is this something that I did? And you can really take a step back and look at yourself and be like, oh yeah, it was because of that time that I lied that I was at my friend's house when I was really at this other person's house. It's like if you lied about that situation, obviously, you know, your parents are not going to trust you, and it's going to take a while for them to build that trust up again. Maybe you as the teenager should really sit down with your parents and be like, hey, like, I know I messed up, but, you know, how can I build that trust up again, because I really want to have my independence. It's all about communication. And parents, you know, if you feel that, you know, you don't want your kid going somewhere because you're scared of, you know, whatever the things you think are gonna happen, just have a sit down with them. But the less you trust your kids, for whatever reason you think it is that's not justified in the kid's mind, you need to definitely communicate it. And I think that's where Kat Von D's and Paris Hilton's parents failed her, is the fact that they just couldn't talk to their kid. That's just how I feel about the whole situation. Oh, and then I did my own research on troubled youth schools here in my area where I live. Boy, was I shocked. I was absolutely shocked. I'm gonna try and put the screenshots of the comments that I read right here of the reviews. So, where I live, there's already a few schools in the area that, is this it? Yeah, that's it. There's already a few boarding schools here, and I never really thought to look into them before. So here in the valley, there's this one boarding school called the Marine Military Academy. And here's the thing, when I was doing my research on these schools, I read the parents' reviews, but I didn't go much into the parents' reviews, because here's the thing, just because the parents think it's good for their kids doesn't necessarily mean that the kid had a good experience there. That's the way I was reading it. So I was coming across reviews from ex-students, and holy crap, I did not read any positive stuff from ex-students at all. All of the reviews that I was reading that were definitely negative from like an ex-student's point of view were definitely freaking negative. Like, just wow, it was really sad reading some of the comments. I read one comment that the staff doesn't do a good job at actually making sure that the kids are in a safe school environment, because a lot of the people, and I'm not saying it's all of them, but a lot of the people that I read that were being sent to these schools were definitely bullies. And you know, if you as a faculty member are failing to protect a child from being bullied very, very, very roughly, then you gotta have that school checked for sure. Because some of the stuff I was reading, like, yeah, I definitely put up with some abuse from this place, from the staff, but mostly from the older students who were taking advantage of the younger students. I feel like that's who's really being sent to these reform schools, are people who are like bullies. But a lot of children who are being sent to these schools that these schools were made for are supposed to be drug addicts. And I don't know, like, I'm not a parent yet. I hope that I'll never ever have to go through like the thought of sending my kid to a reform school. But if your kid is having drug problems, you think that you would send them to a rehab and not a reform school. Because the way that what I've been reading up on these schools is that they have a tendency to use very abusive practices to get these kids to listen to them. Kat Von D was stating that she wanted to be a tattoo artist real bad, and lo and behold, she became a tattoo artist, right? And these people lied to her, stating that she contracted HIV just from getting a tattoo, which obviously wasn't true. They were just using these scare tactics to get these kids to behave, and that is some serious freaking mental abuse right there. Like, that's just some serious mental abuse. Oh my god, like, I don't know, it's just, I think if you're a parent and you're thinking of sending your kids to one of these reform schools, just don't. Like, just have a talk with your kid. Maybe just trust them. Like not necessarily that you need to treat them like adults, which, I mean, if you're gonna treat them like an adult, you need to establish some form of trust with your child. And if you don't, well, you're just gonna push your kid further and further away. That's what I got out of this documentary that Paris Hilton did, is that her parents just definitely didn't trust her and they didn't bother talking to her, you know? Like I said, I don't know particularly because I don't have kids, at least right now. Maybe when I'm older and my boyfriend and I do have our kids, like, maybe we'll understand more. It's just, I think paying some people to abduct your kid in the middle of the night, I think that's definitely a little bit extreme. So yeah. By the way, I just want a quick shout out. I am using these contour correcting sticks. Okay, so this is a contour stick. This is a color correcting stick concealer from Chris Michael Cosmetics, and I freaking love them, and I've never used stuff like this before. Well, I have, but never had good results. These are the only ones I've had good results with. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole Paris Hilton thing, the documentary. I did think it was shocking. I think that a lot of people should give this documentary a look. My mom was watching just a little bit of it with me, and even she was like, I need to watch that documentary. I'm really big into documentaries. Like, I love watching them on my free time, but it's very rare. Like, one of my favorite documentaries is Zeitgeist. If you've never seen that, definitely recommend you watch it. It's a really interesting story about the United States, how the economy works, and it's definitely one of those things that will make you woke, you know? That's all I have to really say on the matter. I really didn't know what to talk about for today's video. I had this whole thing that I was gonna plan. Like, I was going to talk about a scary story today. I was gonna do a scary story today for you know, just to keep up with the Halloween theme that I'm kind of doing on my channel right now. I just didn't have my heart set today on the video that I had originally planned, which I will save for next time. My next video is going to be talking about one of the scarier true crime cases that happened here in Texas. That was about Mark Kilroy. And if you don't know about that, you can either do your research now or you can wait until my video comes out. And I'm gonna be telling some Hispanic scary stories like La Lechuza, La Llorona, Duendes, just stuff like that. I didn't really have my heart set on that for today, only because I was supposed to make this video yesterday and I ended up not making it solely because of the fact that I was going through a major depressive episode yesterday. Like, I just woke up late. First of all, I woke up like around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had been asleep since like 3 in the morning. So usually I try to only sleep for 8 hours, which I should have only slept till 11 that day, but I guess I forgot to set my alarm. So I woke up like at about 2, almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I woke up in a bad mood. Like, I was just so like, I woke up angry at the world, and I honestly don't even know why I woke up angry. It was just one of those days. And then I just couldn't get out of bed for the life of me. It was really difficult to try and find the strength to get out of bed. Now, usually I would try and force myself to like just do anything, just work, find something to do. But yesterday I just said to myself, screw it. I'm going to allow myself this one day to feel like crap. And I did allow myself that. I didn't feel bad about it, because the thing is that a lot of depressive people are told, get out of bed, you know, go out, do something, when it's like, it's literally just that hard to get out of bed, to just muster up the energy just to roll out of bed and talk and just talk to people and have to be out doing things. Like, my body felt like it was hurting yesterday. Oh snap, I forgot to do one thing. I need to contour my nose, that's what I forgot to do. And I started thinking yesterday of like all the stuff I needed to do, which this video, like doing this video or just any video yesterday, it felt like an obligation. Like, and the thing about me is that I hate feeling like I have to do things out of obligation at all. Like, if my heart isn't set into it, I'm just gonna hate it the whole time. So I decided not to do the video yesterday solely because of the fact that I was just feeling like absolute crap all freaking day. So I didn't, and I told myself, don't feel bad, just you rest up for today. But my goal was today to get out of bed early, well, semi-early enough, right? My goal was to get out of bed semi-early enough to just get out of bed and do something. I couldn't just spend I couldn't have another depressive episode 2 days in a row. So I said, screw it, rest up today, don't do anything. I didn't get out of bed all day yesterday, and what I ended up doing was today, actually yesterday I really thought about the video I wanted to do that would make me happy, because suddenly talking about Mark Kilroy and La Llorona and stuff like that, it just didn't feel as appetizing as it did in the first place. So it kind of brought me to the mindset that, like, oh, maybe you need to do things when you want to do them, you know, stop setting yourself time frames, stop procrastinating, you know, just actually do them. So today, that's why I said today, like, my heart wasn't set on talking about Mark Kilroy today. It was actually set on talking about this whole Paris Hilton thing, because it was just so just, it brought up a lot of feelings in me. And my parents never sent me to one of those boarding schools. I mean, we didn't have the money anyways, but it just made me feel a lot of things. I mean, Paris did go through abuse, so did Kat Von D. Like I said, you could feel whatever you feel about Kat Von D, but I think we all agree that, like, no child deserves to go through that. What's up? How do I look?
Oh, what should you do? Oh, I love it. I'm gonna use that for Halloween one night.
You are? Mm-hmm. How's my skin look? Because everybody says that my skin looks immaculate, like it looks airbrushed.
Yeah, it does.
You know what it is? After I wash my face and I tone, I do the spray toner, I apply that Farsali 24K gold serum. Yeah, I put that on, but I got a sample of this really expensive moisturizer from Lush called Enzymion, which is supposed to mattify the face. But I heard that if you use too many mattifying products, like a mattifying serum, a mattifying moisturizer, and then a mattifying foundation, it dries your skin up and it makes it cakey, so you're supposed to have one of those things be a moisturizer. And I'm noticing the difference after I apply it, and then I apply my foundation. And this is the cheapy foundation too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, my mom came in again. Yeah, I don't have my own place right now. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it, you know, like, just because I don't agree with with most of the things that Kat Von D says, I don't agree that she has to go through that. That is one of the most traumatic events. And the thing is that, like, you as a person, you want to be mad at the parents really bad. Like, you want to be mad at them for making their kids go through that. But the thing is that a lot of these places, and I read that in one of the comments about the local school, a lot of these places portray themselves, obviously not in this way. They're trying to sell a product. The product is a school. So my urgency to parents out there who are thinking about sending your troubled kid to these schools is to do your research. Obviously some of these places gotta be good. Not a lot. Sorry. I'm not saying all of these places are bad. I'm just saying that, like, do your research on the school first before you're thinking about sending your kid there. And I know it's real easy for somebody to be like, well, you know, we would never send our kids there to a place like that. But really, really think about, like, really research the school. Google the reviews. Google testimonials from not the parents. You don't like, it's real easy to agree with the parents, but you need to look up testimonials from alumni who went to that school, children, because the parents didn't go through it. The parents could easily say, like, oh, we sent our kid to this school and they came back like a completely changed person. But actually look at the testimonials and the reviews from the students who went there, because a lot of the students will say that it may have been the most traumatic time of their life. Maybe they actually did like the school that they went to. It's just, like I said, you should be more vigilant for your children, you know, because a lot of these places, there have been allegations of sexual abuse. And obviously you would not want your kid to go through that. And the thing with Paris is, Paris could have obviously told her parents. But the thing about the school that she was going to is that the children were told that if they tried to tell their parents what was happening at the school would just come out and say, oh, well, your kid's a liar and, you know, they're manipulating you, and it's just not true. That's true. That's what abusers do. They lie. And, you know, you can't help it. I mean, Paris couldn't help it if she felt like she couldn't tell her parents, because obviously she didn't trust them. And I'm talking about it today because it really got me fired up. It really got me upset, like, it just got me really upset at how her parents just didn't do their research and how her parents allowed her to do that simply because she was rebelling, you know? And look, I get it. I grew up in a really poor town. Like, if your kid rebels and is involved with a lot of, like, drug stuff, apparently, I mean, you have to look at the situation that your kids are growing up in. A lot of the times, it could just be the environment that they're raised in. A lot of the times, it could... Let me pause for a second. Because this was just a lip treatment, and I need to take it off for my actual face. So, like... Pill Plumper by Chris Michael Cosmetics. So yeah, like, I forgot what I was even saying, honestly, before I paused the video. But yeah, like, it's just really sad, and, you know, you just hope that your kids don't go through that type of crap when they grow up, and, you know, parents couldn't help it. So, yeah. By the way, I don't know if y'all guys have seen the documentary also, I'm thinking about talking about it next time, because there are some things that I want to talk about of the Chris Watts family documentary. If you haven't seen it, watch it, comment down below what you guys think. Also, I really implore you guys to go watch the This Is Paris documentary. It will really change your life on how you view her, on how you thought you viewed her. So, and I know we're just talking about Kat Von D. This is the Alchemist palette. Ugh, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, this is the Alchemist palette right here. Look, like I said, I don't agree with Kat Von D. When I found out about the whole like anti-vax and anti-whatever stuff, anti-Semite stuff. But I've had this palette since it came out, so that should tell you how old it is. And even though I shouldn't be using expired product, it applies amazingly on my skin. I want to cry from, like, this is honestly, like, girl, besides the Fenty highlighter, which is the one that I use all the time, this is by far the most absolutely amazing highlighter that I've ever had the pleasure of using ever in my life. It's just so freaking good. Like, when I and I hardly ever did use the green, but the only reason why I'm using the green today is because, well, you know, Halloween, you know, green is in there too. But yeah, oh my god, just blend it together. What brush is this? Highlight and Glow. Okay, so this is the perfect, I've always wanted a brush like this. Yeah, like I said, I don't buy any new Kat Von D products at all. I know she's not the owner anymore. They changed the name just to KDD, but still, I still would never give her my money now, you know? But yeah, still. Alright, so I'm gonna finish this look with the Chris Michael Vanity Cosmetics lipstick. This is the lip liner Nude Kisses, and then we have the lipstick in Royalty. And again, look at this freaking packaging. And I really like this because it's got like this little hook right here. And I really like it because I don't really like to wear purses. I like to wear fanny packs a lot, like literally everywhere I go. So this would be cool just to attach on my my lanyard that I wear pretty much all day. So I'm just gonna finish this look. Now, I did do a step-by-step. Oh, fudgesicles. Hold on, I'm gonna have to wait. Okay, sorry. I could not line my lips at all and talk at the same time. I did do, I know I told y'all already that I was gonna pause the video for a little bit to do a step-by-step tutorial on this side for this look that I'm doing. If you want a step-by-step, I will put the link to the video somewhere in this video, like a card at the end, a card at the beginning, maybe in the middle, I don't know. But definitely we'll do that, because I post a lot on Facebook makeup groups, and a lot of people are asking me, how do I get my skin to look so good? Which today, like, this is the second time that my skin has looked amazing. It doesn't look textury at all. This is the first time, well, no, second time that my skin looks good when I'm doing my makeup. So if y'all want a tutorial for that, also what I do to get my skin to look airbrushed-ish, I think, hold on, I think it looks pretty airbrush, honestly. I've been feeling that way lately about my makeup because I made a change to my skincare routine. I don't do the old skincare routine anymore now. I added a serum in, which if y'all want me to talk about that, I mean, I will talk about the products that I use in this video, but if you want me to talk about how I get my skin to look airbrushed and really smooth when it's not, y'all have seen the before. Y'all know how my skin looks before I add my makeup on, so if you want that, just comment down below. Because honestly, my skin looks, even up close in the mirror, my skin looks freaking good, and my skin is never, like, this is honestly the best my makeup has ever looked like. Ever, ever, ever. Another thing about this lipstick by Chris Michael Vanity Cosmetics is that it is mask proof. If you follow me on my Instagram, I posted a story where I was out in public wearing this exact look, wearing this lipstick, and I showed that there was no transference from the lipstick on my face onto my mask and it didn't smear everywhere. And that's really awesome because now in COVID times, which I'm calling it now COVID times, makeup is really difficult now. It's hard for us to wear our lipsticks because they're smearing everywhere, so now we have to find smudge-proof lipsticks. This is it. This is mask-proof. I highly recommend this. I will put a link to Chris Michael Vanity Cosmetics down on the bottom. And yeah, so I'm just finishing this look out with lip gloss because I'm not leaving anywhere today. Usually if I wear a mask, if I know I'm gonna wear a mask, I won't wear lip gloss. But it's very rare that I want to wear lip gloss anyways, because I don't know, I like my lips too. Ooh, who's she? Oh my god, who's that girl? Wow, okay, I put on lip gloss and I don't know how to act. That's freaking great. Okay, I have to put on my favorite beanie. So yeah, this is my Halloween inspired look. This is most definitely like a Halloween inspired look. The eyeshadow with the orange and the black and the sparkly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I really didn't mean to talk this entire video about the This Is Paris documentary. I didn't mean to at all. Like, my plan for this video was to just do my makeup and talk about This Is Paris. I was going to talk about the Chris Watts documentary. I was going to try and throw in, you know, a scary story in there, but the This Is Paris documentary really does portray a real life horror for kids, and that's being snatched in the middle of the night, being taken to a place where you're abused. Most kids don't really think about that. A lot of adults think about that because they've gone through it as children, but as children, you don't really think that you're gonna be snatched up in the middle of the night in your bedroom by people that your parents hired to kidnap you, and then you're treated like crap and your parents don't even realize that you're being treated like crap. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry I just kept rambling. I really got into it today. Like, I really got into my video today. This is the first time that I really truly felt like I've gotten into it. If you don't follow me on social media, here are my social media platforms right here. If you want to see other stuff, if you want to support this channel, I will put the link to my Patreon down below. And that's it for today, so I really hope I get to see you guys next time. Love you. Bye-bye.